Hello everybody. So I've already had a video where I tried to analyse the likelihood of Chris Bouzy, his stated reason for creating bot sentinel, whether it was true or not. So his stated reason is that he created it to help to deal with Twitter's rules. Essentially it's a ban bot to stop cyberbullying, to stop harassment, stop stalking, and of course to stop disinformation. Now, I think I've analysed that he's at bare minimum failed in all of those aims, and certainly in the case of disinformation has no idea what he's talking about. In the case of the other things, I think that he has really applied it very poorly. If he does understand what he's talking about, he shouldn't be claiming it to be a success. So he's either a colossal failure, an absolute has no idea what he's talking about, or that wasn't his aim. So I'm going to go with the theory now that wasn't his aim. And we're going to try to look at what was his aim, what matches better. Is there a theory that matches better what he's actually achieved or what he was actually doing? And I think we can start with some facts. Now I'm going to start with some recent facts, some very well-known facts and some publicly available facts. Fact number one is that Chris Bouzy was called as an expert witness for Amber Heard against Johnny Depp in the recent trial, the one in Virginia in USA. He was called as an expert witness. He did not testify. So he was paid undisclosed amount of money, but it'd be in the thousands. It'd be probably in the tens of thousands. So I could guess it'd be somewhere between 5,000 and 30 or 40,000, around about. Let's pick a round figure and say 25,000. Let's guess that. I don't know, but let's just guess that he was paid around about that amount of money in order to be on standby and not actually be called. Right? I don't know the actual number, but it'll be a reasonable amount. Now he wasn't paid that by Amber Heard out of her back pocket. He was paid that by Amber Heard's legal fund, which of course was controlled by Elaine Brederhoft and her legal team, and that in turn was paid for by Travelers Insurance, and I believe it's called New York Marine, which is a different insurance company, and they're currently involved in a lawsuit because neither of them want to pay. Well, I think Travelers are happy to pay, but they don't want to pay the whole lot. They only want to pay half. New York Marine don't want to pay anything. She took out two insurance companies just before she wrote the article, and those insurance policies covered her in the event that Johnny Depp would sue her. Bit suspicious, but you know, who knows, maybe that's a coincidence. And anyway, so the money is coming from insurance companies. And she obviously had to pay a premium for that, who knows how much. Maybe she paid $1,000. But so that's not her money. She's not paying him. He's being paid, or was paid, by her legal fund, which in turn were paid for by her insurance companies, who, and it depends on the outcome of that trial, may have been manipulated, lied to and defrauded. That's certainly what they're claiming. Now, essentially, if he was paid legitimately to be a standby expert witness, then fair enough. If that's all he did, he was a standby, he got paid however much money, that's it, fair enough. Fair enough, you're supposed to get, expert witnesses are supposed to be paid. He declared himself an expert witness. Whether Johnny Depp's team would have agreed to that or not, who knows. But he certainly declared himself as such. He only has to declare himself as such and be agreed by her team in order to be paid. He won't be allowed to testify as an expert witness unless Johnny Depp's team also agrees. They might not have agreed. Who knows? And of course, she did have other people that were experts on the same topic who did appear. There was at least one guy, the one that went along and said that the hashtag of justice for Johnny Depp was a hate hashtag. So that's what Bot Sentinel and what Chris Bouzy would have been saying. Things along those lines. You know, he didn't appear, we don't know what he might have said. And we also don't know if he was ever going to appear. So he was paid. So he's claimed that he's not, so recently he's claimed he's not an employee of her. in a sense that's true, in a sense that's false. Because if he's saying that from the perspective, or the point of view of saying, well, he's not in regular weekly payments with her, that's fair. If he's saying, oh, she's never paid me anything, nor has anyone paid him on her behalf, well, that's false. He has been paid. He was an expert witness. All expert witnesses are paid, whether they appear or not. So, you know, he definitely was paid by her. Now, the next question is, so why is he lying about that? That's one thing. Why is he denying it? Is he just trying to get a technicality there? No, he seems to be denying the entire thing. Of course, if he's sued over that lie, I'm sure he'll say, oh, look, I meant that I was only paid as an expert witness, not as an ongoing thing. That's what I meant. So he's got that argument there. But, yeah, so what can we say there? So he has then, of course, gone after people on Johnny Depp's team, including not just the people on his team, but including people that commented as neutrals, including the Law Tube, including Nate the lawyer, and who was that other guy? Lost his name right now. That umbrella guy who's not actually a lawyer, and Rakita Law, there you go, I think it's Nick Rakita, who is a lawyer. And I'm sure he's gone after more than that, but they're the three that I'm aware of. And, you know, he's sort of attacked them. And so is he doing that as a paid employee? Or is he just doing that for fun? So on one hand, if he's doing that as a paid employee, then there's no way that he's getting paid regular weekly payments. But then does that mean that he was paid as an expert witness on the understanding that he would do all this? Is that, you know, like did he get paid off, you know, let's say $25,000? I'm just, you know, plucking a number out of the air, but if it was that amount, did they pay him $25,000 and, or perhaps even withhold most of that and just pay him a little bit now and a little bit when you do your deed? If that's the case, then it's quite manipulative, quite deceptive, not necessarily straight out illegal. And of course, you'd have to do some suing, and I wouldn't be the one doing it. It'd be the insurance company, I would think, that would sue her if that was the case. But I mean, it'd be up to them. If they're perfectly happy with that, then they're perfectly happy with that. But, you know, if they're not happy, if they're saying, well, that's not actually a part of the legal fund, that's more a part of the PR fund or some other fund, you should pay for that yourself, then there could be some issues. But that's not for me. That's for the insurance company to decide if they want to worry about it. Perhaps if Elaine Brederhoft and the lawyers, if they decide that they want to worry about it, then that's for them to decide. So the issue there is, it's not so much whether or not that's illegal, whether or not he's going to be sued for that, whether or not she's going to be sued for that. It's more the issue that, did he do that coincidentally? If he did that coincidentally, he shouldn't have. Not just because he shouldn't be going after lawyers and he shouldn't be doing this stuff, but because there's a massive conflict of interest, because he is an employee and because he's been paid as an expert witness. You wouldn't expect any of the other expert witnesses to go around attacking lawyers, and none of them did. Not even that psychiatrist who everyone made fun of because of how appalling he behaved, nor that psychologist who just seemed to be a bit silly. No, but none of the other expert witnesses went around attacking people. Because you don't do that. Some of her regular witnesses did. There was Eve Barlow, who was, I believe, going to appear as a witness. She's gone around attacking people, but that's sort of different. She didn't actually appear. She wasn't paid. Maybe she was secretly, but, you know. So you have to ask, is he essentially an internet hitman? And it certainly seems as if he is. Now, Amber Heard does seem to employ a number of people to do these sorts of things. He's not the only one that's gone after that umbrella guy. There's also people that have called police, and that wasn't him. There's people that have called child custody. There's other people that have done other dirty deeds, and perhaps they're paid as well, or perhaps they're just manipulated, perhaps they're not paid. But is this why he started Bot Sentinel? Did he start it in order to be this internet assassin essentially. And I mean, internet hitman. Is that what he was paid to do? Is that why he set it up? And the simple answer is it couldn't have been for Amber Heard. I mean, she wasn't really around. There wasn't really much reason to do it when he started his Bot Central. It started several years ago. I mean, I guess, I think, have to check the dates. It might have actually been after she put her op-ed out, but there was no reason to go after anyone until she lost the court case. So, no, public opinion was on her side. So there was no need to do it, and he didn't do it. So why would he do that if that wasn't the purpose of it? And we can talk about Meghan Markle, and we can say, well, did she pay? She might have, I'm not aware of it, but it's possible. Maybe her or Harry's publicists or PR people gave him some money. But what about before that? He didn't start it with that in mind, surely. The Meghan Markle thing's quite new too. And he had his Bot Sentinel before that. So what kind of situation would put yourself into that position where people think that you're available for hire to do internet takedowns, to do internet assassinations? And does it tie in with his claims of going after trolls or stalkers or all that kind of thing? And here's one hypothesis, and that is that he actually set this up not to stop stalkers, but to sort of give a category of people who would be vulnerable to things like identity theft, vulnerable to scams, vulnerable to other internet crimes that make money for people. And this was essentially a list of people that you could scam, you could make money out of. And that the rating was actually about that. And maybe that's not the current rating. I'm not saying that it definitely is that, but you know, there is a growing number of scams out there, and they like to have these lists of people. They'll just do regular phishing anyway, but if they're given a list of people who are vulnerable to being targeted, then they can more easily target them, make more money, get a higher percentage return on their investment. Could that be what he did? I've got no evidence that he did. I'm just hypothesising that that kind of makes sense. That he could have been making lists, and particularly he's got the API. The API from Optus just got stolen by a hacker, who then, you know, is presumably going to give it away to scammers. Well, that's what that threat is. Twitter's giving him the API voluntarily. How he managed to get that, who knows? But could he be using that to give to scammers, to make money by giving it to scammers? No right-minded person would give him money for finding out if somebody's a good or bad person, because it doesn't achieve that. But it could be by scammers trying to find their next victim. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a theory that I think is quite plausible. Anyway, that's it for me. Bye-bye.